My sister's new boyfriend is the guy I made fun of in school. I want to apologize.
Ooh, yeah, that is a great place to start.
And there's a trigger warning for past bullying and a physical altercation.
Oh.
I'll start with this. I, 25 male, was a wiener as a teenager. I'm from the UK, from the and from the ages of around 14 to 16, I hung around in a gang. I did it because I was popular. I would get invited to parties and girls would like me. Whatever other reason a teenage kid would hang out in a gang, basically. We were basically a group of jerks to certain people. I don't think we were worse to anyone more than Stuart. 25 male, though. That's my sister's new boyfriend. We were horrible to him, and we were typical school bullies to this guy. Once I turned 18 and got away from all the bad influences, who I'd been told for years were holding me down, I realized I had been a wiener, and most of the others in the gang were too. I still speak to a couple of people, but most of them were cut off, and quite frankly, I'm embarrassed of my actions when I was younger. Sometimes you gotta cut off your wieners. It's just the way it is. By the way, this comes from user formerbully12. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Savannah.
We're gonna read this story, and we're gonna have our thoughts, and we'll maybe give some advice, but we don't know everything. We only know what we know, so tell us all the stuff you know in the comments. And OP says, my sister Jane, 22 female, went to a different school, as by that point she and my parents had seen that my school wasn't exactly the best, considering the crowd I got mixed up in. I don't know if Stuart knew I had a sister or not, in all honesty. I have recently moved back to my hometown and met up with my sister for a drinky poo. She told me about her new boyfriend, and I told her, when she mentioned his name, the truth, that I was terrible to him. So if she's dating him, I'll apologize, because I feel bad for my past actions. She agreed and told me just to message him on Facebook and he'll be fine. So I did as she said and wrote a very long message about how I'm happy for him and my sister and how I am very sorry for what I did in the past. Explained that I know I'll never know how I made him feel, but I am genuinely apologizing here and don't want any issues with him. He replied saying that I am a wiener and he does not accept my apology, and he blocked me.
Oh.
I thought, fair enough, I tried. I'll try again at a later date when he might be more open to the idea, because I get it. He doesn't trust me. To him, I am the dude who bullied him for years. My sister phoned me not long after and started shouting at how horrible I was as a teenager and that she'll never forgive me for what I did to her boyfriend. She listed off some things that he told her. Some of them I admitted to doing or being there for when it happened. Some of them I didn't do but had heard about them, and some accusations I had never had anything to do with or ever heard of them happening. I feel for Stuart and want to sort this out with them, for not only feeling bad for doing it, but also to save my relationship with my sister. What can I do here? And we do have some comments, but what would you say this guy should do?
I mean, it sounds like Stuart never really went to, therapy or anything to get help for all of that. Seems like he also still has some lingering feelings about all of this.
That would be a crazy thing as the guy who made him need therapy to be like, you should go to therapy.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't suggest you say that. I would maybe have a sit-down conversation, be like, hey, I know that I effed up years and years and years ago. I completely take responsibility for that. I am not, asking for forgiveness at this time. I'm just asking you to maybe be open to my apology either now or later, because I do want to make things right, especially if you're going to be a part of this family for a while. I don't want there to be any trouble or bad blood between my family and you.
Well, we've got some comments. Clahep says, a true apology doesn't come via text or Facebook. It's a face-to-face apology, taking blame and truly being sorry for it. OP says, I did offer to meet up with him and say it face-to-face. Sass Lizard Highball, if a police officer had seen some of the things you did to Stuart, would you have ended up being arrested? A great question. If the answer is yes, then I don't see why he ever has to forgive you. OP says, not me personally, no. My friendship group, maybe, aka the stuff I wasn't involved with. Allison Rages says, you probably did this on a daily basis to this guy for years and you won't even mention the things you did. He is probably still messed up from it. You did the right thing apologizing, but only did it because your sister started dating him. That comes across funny to me if I was Stuart. You made the gesture of apologizing, but now give him his space. OP says, I won't mention things I did for anonymity. It's pretty detailed without me mentioning specific details, because then someone could see it. I know my sister uses Reddit, and could cause even more problems. Yeah, I completely get his point with that. Honestly, I couldn't remember how bad bad we were until she brought it up. I've tried to block a lot of things out from my childhood, to be honest. And the reason OP blocked it out was I've blocked out a lot because I've had a hard home life at the time. And there's an update. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like most people that are bullying aren't doing it because they're like, my life is so great. There's always something that makes somebody want to do that.
That's true. Whether it's like not getting enough attention or being, you know, like mistreated at home or at school or, you know, like something's going on, obviously, if someone's...
Doesn't excuse it.
Exactly.
Or make you avoid the consequence of it. But we do have another update. 3 days later, people were asking me what me and my friends did to Stuart at school. So here's some examples of what I did personally to him.
Yay.
Huh? I mean, not yay. Like, I just wanted to get context for what you did.
Yay context, not yay bullying.
Yes.
I put items in the local newspaper for sale with his mobile number as the contact number, ordered numerous takeaway deliveries to his house, named him after a farm animal, told the girl he was crushing on all the stuff he had written about her in his notebook. Oof. I never did anything physically to him because at the time I was having a hard time with my mother's boyfriend. This is why I started training in boxing and started lifting weights at around this age to become bigger and stronger, to stand up for myself. I always said that I wouldn't harm anyone physically and I refused to take part in them as I saw it as too far, but at the same time, I didn't realize the mental aspects were just as bad, if not worse. Yeah, I gotta say, the mental anguish of having your crush in high school told all of the stuff you've written in your own journal, horrific.
I don't know. I wouldn't feel really embarrassed. I'd be like, okay, so like, do you like me? I don't know, but I'm a different breed. So me, like if someone like told my crush in high school and was like, hey, like, you know, she likes you, blah, blah, blah. And if he did nothing about it, then I'd be like really pissed.
On to the update. I saw Stuart in a local pub last night that I went to with my friends. He originally didn't say anything, and I decided to give him some space because I was advised in the original to leave him alone. When he started getting a little more tipsy, he started making more comments obviously intended to be heard by me. We both spoke, and we were both outside when he started berating me for my fake apology. I told him it wasn't fake, I meant it, and that I have changed as a person, and that was me as a 15-year-old kid who thought he was cool. The 25-year-old me is embarrassed by that. He said he didn't believe me and would love to deck me right there and then. I told him if he wants to do that, do it. I probably deserve it. At this point, I'm outnumbered 3-1 as my two friends are still inside. Stuart made a move on me. The other two surrounded me, and even though I'm a big guy who's a trained fighter, it doesn't take a genius to work out that 3v1 usually doesn't work out well for the one. Luckily, my friends have heard the noise and got involved to break it up before I got any serious damage. The pub owners then told us to leave or they'd be involving the police, so we waited till they left and went out the back way to my friend's house. And by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this at your friend's house. You guys go to the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts and search OK Storytime, and there you will find us. Bro, I don't think the right move is going, yeah, go ahead. I think it's, hey, I get it. I'm just going to disengage.
This is hard to read over like text. Like I would want to see the tone that he gave it. If he went like, yeah, honestly, I probably deserve it. If that's what's going to make you feel better and that's what's going to stop all this, go crazy.
It's not going to stop anything. They just been drinking. You wanted to hit him.
But then on the other hand, if he said it like, yeah, do it. Like, I probably deserve it anyway, right? And like, if he said it, you know, there's a tone difference here.
I think you just got to let Stuart feel however he feels.
Yeah, there's no rush to what he feels. And you can't, like, there's no right or wrong. It's just the way that he feels. And hopefully with time, he'll see that you've changed. Obviously, he hasn't spent a lot of time around you because of the past. So I think if he starts spending a little more time with you, even though he doesn't want to, but getting that exposure to you and you getting exposed to him again, it could, you know, settle. The dust could settle.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's finish this story. My sister phoned me while I was there, telling me that Stuart said I'd tried to start a fight with him and he put me in my place.
Oh my God. See, well now that's just annoying.
Yeah, whatever. This is why you don't get into drinky pook confrontations at the pub. I told her no. Stuart tried to start a fight with me. I told him if doing that would help things, then do it. I gave get hit every week in boxing practice, so I'm used to it. My friends told her the story of what actually happened, and she was not happy. She phoned me again today, yesterday in the UK, and told me Stuart admitted what had happened and how he wanted him and his friends to hospitalize me. She dumped him because she was scared for mine and her safety.
Now he's got the look of crazy in his eye.
You say, sayonara, Stuart.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I could see like, oh, I just want to like hit him, but not, oh, I wanted him to be hospitalized for what he did to me 10 years ago.
Clearly you and your friends were relentlessly tormenting this guy. I don't know if Stuart had any other problems, but what we did seems to have affected him a lot more than I thought, and I hope I never make anyone feel like that again. And that is the end of that story.
It really is sad because it's like you can't take back your actions. You can only, try to live your life as best as you can. I don't know. It's just, this is hard because this happened so many years ago when you were in high school. And like, obviously I can't give like advice to a high schooler. And also that was like 10 years ago.
I think it's crazy. If I was Stuart, I would have just broken up with her as soon as I found out she's my high school bully's sister. I'd be like, oh, so this is never going to work. Clearly.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he even stayed.
Yeah. I feel like he kind of played it out. I don't think he meant to do this to get back at you or something. I think it was just, it was a coincidence type thing, but
well, yeah.
He can't live with the fact that you would be in his life. That was non-negotiable, and he continued to stay in the relationship anyway.
I mean, it was 3 days.
Oh, it was 3 days?
I don't know how long they've been dating, but it was only 3 days between the revelation and the breakup.
Okay, so maybe this was just a weird circumstance.
At the end of the day, this is your fault and not Stuart's fault, because you relentlessly tormented this guy to the point where he's still messed up about it 10 years later. That was really bad. Continue to own that, and just probably leave Stuart alone.
And work on growth and maybe rebuilding those relationships, and maybe it'll get you to like how they do in Billy Madison when he calls up
0%.
the one guy he
Don't
bullied.
know it at all.
Okay, well, he calls up the one guy that he bullied, and he's like, "Hey, I've come to like a realization that I really like treated you horrible, so I just want to say I'm sorry for that, and I hope like you're doing well." And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, blah blah," and he crosses his name off of the hit list.
Apology list. Yeah.
He saves his life later on in the movie. Spoilers.
But that is the end of that story, and we've got another one coming up.
My sister tried to glamorize her job to my daughter, and I disapprove of it.
She have a bad job?
I want to start by saying that I fully support my sister's career choice. Okay, a little bit of a mixed...
I feel like we'll feel this way till we know what it is.
Yeah. And I'm not interested in comments debating the morality of what she's doing.
OF worker.
My sister is a paid companion, so not far off.
Oh, still in the spicy industry?
Yes.
I see.
She came to visit us last weekend. She was planning on spending the summer with us since we haven't seen each other for 3 years. When she told us about this, my daughter was ecstatic. They have a great relationship, and she helped me raise her after her mom passed away.
Oh, wow.
When my parents first found out about my sister's job, they denounced her, told her that she was bringing shame to the family and that she was going to rot in heck.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty harsh. I tried convincing them to change their minds and that treating my sister that way isn't going to do anything good. But they told me that it's none of my business and that I should stop defending her. My sister became depressed because of that, and she stopped working.
Holy cow.
When she couldn't afford rent, I brought her to my house. I told her that she's my baby sister and that I will always be by her side and take care of her no matter what. She started getting better week by week, and after a few months, she got back to her former happy self.
All right.
Seems like you're a really good brother. By the way, this comes from throwaway 994671148. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't know everything. So let us know what you know in the comments.
I feel like your sister could find a really rich dude and not have to do this anymore.
It seems kind of like she wants to do this, though. Like, it seems like there's a certain level of, I just like this job. Which, I mean, I've known, like, people who have done this specifically, but people who have done spicy work, done kind of companionship-related things, and they just like it. Because he said once she got happy, she went back to it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I think there is a level of it that is just she enjoys the work.
Gives her fulfillment.
Yeah. OP says, back to the present day. What?
Gives her fulfillment.
Oh, because it's filling. Back to the present day last Friday. When I got back home from work, I overheard them talking in my daughter's bedroom. My daughter was asking her aunt about her job. She started telling her about how much fun it is and that she gets to visit many new places and meet new people and how she gets to decide what she wants to work, which allows her to take breaks whenever she wants so she gets to visit and spend all summer with us. My daughter told her that her job's so cool and how she's looking forward to spend time with her and all the fun activities they'll get to do in the summer. If your sister didn't specify what she did, then I think it's okay. But if she's like, yeah, this is what I do and it's freaking awesome, then it's a little bit weird to be telling a child this.
I just have to go to dinner, drink a few drinks, not remember like 10 minutes of my life, and everything's great.
I think she likes it though. I don't think she's as mentally affected. I think she likes this.
Have an awesome 10 minutes, and then everything's great.
And then everything's great. Next morning, I told my sister that I overheard them and that I didn't appreciate the way she explained her work, making it seem all fun with no downside. She told me that my daughter wasn't old enough to hear about the dangerous stuff. I told her that she doesn't get to decide that, and since she felt that my daughter was old enough to hear about her job, then she's definitely old enough to hear about the downsides. When my sister was living with us, I had to always be on alert. Many times she called me to get her out of uncomfortable and dangerous situations. I had to wake my neighbor in the middle of the night multiple times to watch my daughter while I went to get her. And to this day, she still sends me her location whenever she's meeting someone so that I could alert the police in case she doesn't text me afterwards. Very scary. I told her that she needs to leave by the end of the week if she doesn't want to explain the risks of her job in age-appropriate terms to my daughter.
I'm sorry. I just have to say this.
What?
Are you your sister's pimp?
What?
Are you your sister's pimp?
I think OP just picks her up. OP's her chauffeur.
But like, he's a very nice one. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna make sure no one messes with you. And if they do, well, he needs a new job title. But that's really. Can we be for real?
I'm not gonna be for real.
Come on.
I'm not.
People
I'm
in the
not
comments
hopping on your boat.
You know what I'm talking about. The real ones know what I'm talking about.
She told me I was cruel for doing this because I know how much they love each other and how much she was looking forward to spending time with us. Am I the a-hole? I don't know.
Nope. This is your child. You get to make the rules.
I will say this comment one I'm gonna read. Why don't you explain it to your daughter? That's kind of my thinking. Why does your sister need to explain the risks? I think maybe explaining your job in general without OP's permission is maybe overstepping a boundary. But I think especially explaining that level, that like in detail, is overstepping a boundary. I think I would want OP there to say like, hey, like what are you comfortable with me explaining to her? What do you want me to say? Agreed.
This is on the parent.
Yeah.
Miscommunication. We're now in fail-safe mode or repair mode? We're now in repair mode. Mm-hmm. You can give it to you straight. This is your kid, your daughter.
Yeah.
Tell them how you really feel about it. To me, if I had a friend that was a rug dealer, they're saying, oh, dude, it's so cool. I get to hang out with these people, goof off all day, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't want my son to think that that's something they could do one day.
Yeah.
Spicy work and rug dealers, those are two different professions. But in my mind, that's equal. And I'd be like, hey, that is what he does, but this is what it kind of comes with.
Yeah, but would you want him to say that, or would you as the parent?
I would want to say
Exactly. I feel like OP, I understand, being like, hey, you talked to my daughter about this. I'm not comfortable with that. But I also feel like I as a parent would want to oversee that conversation.
But it's repair mode. It's how do you bounce back from this is the real question.
The commenter continues, what do you gain by giving your sister this ultimatum? I agree with what you want to happen. I just don't understand why you have to approach the solution this way. OP says, I believe that my daughter would be more inclined to hear it from her aunt than me. Okay, I get that. She's like the cool aunt.
Oh, since you told her the pros, you also have to tell her the cons of it. I see, because I'd want to be there.
Yeah, same. Especially since it was a conversation that she had privately with her. Also, since becoming a teenager, my daughter stopped taking me seriously. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
I know that it's a phase all teenagers go through, but it's really something weird to experience as a parent. I do intend to explain it to my daughter if my sister won't. I cut my family off, worked and raised a daughter as a single dad, in addition to taking care of her when she was having a difficult time. All of that, and she doesn't even want to have a conversation about the risks of her job with my daughter after telling her only about the bright side. I know it's an uncomfortable discussion, but still, she doesn't need to go over the details with her. If she can't do that, I don't think I can accept her staying with us. I think that is a very fair explanation.
I see your point of view now.
Comment 2, you should both sit her down for a talk then. We said. This is what we freaking said.
Let us come and
Get us
her
in the
down.
room.
We'll do it. We're pretty
Yeah.
cool. You know how much influence we could have on teenagers?
Oh, so much.
We have 1 million followers on TikTok. We're
Shave
cool.
your head.
We're Gen Zers.
We're Gen Z.
Let me tell you the cons of spicy work. Me and Sophia.
I may say that your daughter is 14, and she probably already knows about spicy work and escorting. I will say
14?
I at 14 did not know.
Dude, that's like my brother
Yeah.
and a year older.
I did not know about that. At least maybe I knew the names of things, but I did not know what that was.
I knew a lot of things at 14 that I shouldn't, and it just pains me that my brother is now knowing these things.
Yeah. Edit to add my judgment, not the a-hole. OP says my daughter has already started the angsty teen phase. She doesn't think of me as cool anymore and doesn't take me seriously when I talk to her. Oh, that's so sad to think that's just like a part of parenting.
You're most influenced by your friends, and your friends think your parents are lame. So if you're not around friends that like their parents,
that's so scary. Are my kids gonna think I'm lame?
no, it's because they'll be friends with my kids, and my kids know to respect us, and then your kids will. So there'll be positive reinforcements.
So true. You're right. And your kids will probably, given what you want your trajectory to be, you'll probably have kids first. And so you'll have the older kids who will guide my kids.
There we go. Well, my kids will babysit your kids.
Perfect.
Look at that.
I understand that is a period all teenagers go through, but it's still weird to experience as a parent. They had that conversation privately, and she likes her aunt. I prefer if she had that conversation with her alone again, and then I can join in. That way I can still hear what my sister told her and not make my daughter believe that her aunt broke her trust. I don't know if that's the right way to think about it, but I also see this as a test for my sister. If she can't talk about those things after I asked her, knowing what I did for her and knowing how much my daughter means to me, I don't think that I can let her spend all summer with us. I know that my daughter might be angry, but I think it's better than her aunt tricking and grooming her all summer. Well, I would hope that is not what she's trying to do.
Hopefully not the intention.
She could just say that something came up and she had to leave. And if she doesn't want to do that, then I think it's more proof that she doesn't respect my wishes. I am not young anymore, and I prefer if my daughter doesn't follow on her path because I don't think that I can protect her and be with her the same way I was with my sister. And even then, there were many incidents where there was nothing I could do. But that doesn't mean I won't fully support her however I can if she chooses to when she's an adult. And we do have an update. I think OP is expressing it really, really well. It's just like the feeling of there are a lot of people out there who are spicy workers, and that is a very valid profession, and there should not be judgment towards those people. It's a dangerous profession.
Yeah.
Inherently, it is a dangerous profession.
I would want my kids to have that profession.
Just because I would be worried. But I think I love that OP still says if she chose that, that's her decision when she's an adult, and I would still support her, and I would still, protect her.
Oh, that'd be tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
That'd be real tough.
Unfortunately, when your kids become adults, you can't.
Also, if my sister's staying with me and she has a profession where she's out late at night and she comes in late, even though this is a summer, I don't know if I'd want that for my house because that would disrupt my sleep and maybe my kids sleep too. And I don't know.
It seems like there is less of the I need you to pick me up in the middle of the night stuff happening. Seems like she's kind of figured out how to do it.
She's dialed in her clientele.
Which, I mean, she probably has. Like, it's kind of a joke, but after doing it for a while, you probably do have people that are safe and will give you the money.
Yep.
Update. I spoke with my sister in the early morning while my daughter was still asleep. I explained to her how much it is important to me that she talks to my daughter about the risks of her job because she would actually listen to her aunt more than me, especially now when she reached the stage of dad isn't cool anymore and you're wrong to whatever I say to her.
Oh, this reminds me of Dan in real life.
Dan?
It's a Steve Carell movie. My favorite rom-com movie.
Steve Carell's always playing like the not cool dad.
Beautiful Boy.
Crazy Stupid Love.
There's one.
Gru.
No, he's cool.
He's cool dad.
Come on. Don't call him. Come on.
Cool
That's why I draw the
dad.
line. He's fathered so many of those minions.
Yeah, it's true. What? He's the father of the minions?
Over time, he has become the father of the minions.
He's an adoptive father. And reminded her how much I want us to spend the summer together. I told her that I am not young anymore, and it's unlikely that I will be there for my daughter when she grows up the same way I was for her. So I need to know if I could count on her. I reminded her that she isn't obligated to share details with her, and just mentioned the bad side generally. Unfamiliar locations, strange men, STDs, substance use, etc. And then we can both answer any questions she might have together if she isn't comfortable answering them alone. She apologized, saying that she was selfish and admitted she should have thought about me and my daughter first instead of refusing because she thought my daughter isn't old enough to hear about the bad side. And, you know, now that we know she's a teenager, I am assuming that the sister said what her job title was and said it was cool, which I think that is a huge boundary step.
I'm a rug dealer.
Yeah.
And here's some rugs.
And promise she'll talk to my daughter about this over breakfast.
That's strategic too on the dad's part.
Yeah, no, very smart. Yeah, knowing, oh, my daughter won't listen to me, so let's get cool aunt.
It probably would make it worse.
Yeah.
Or she'd find more of an interest. Oh, my dad says it's bad, so I guess it's something I should look into, perhaps.
I overheard the whole conversation, and like I thought, my daughter was very receptive to her aunt. My sister was reluctant at first, but after seeing her niece's engagement, they ended up talking for over an hour, sharing her good and bad experiences and some funny stories. She even told her about how I stood up for her against our parents after the reaction and the many times I came to her rescue. I told my sister afterwards how much I appreciate what she did for me and her niece. Assured me that she will always be there for me and she'll always take care of her niece like I did with her. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. And I hope you take care of us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this, because you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up Storytime.
And you just see this in a Hallmark Christmas movie ASAP.
I actually love this. I actually love this. I love how understanding OP is of this profession. I love that it's realistic. It's not just saying, oh, this is great. No, there are dangers, but everyone's so supportive.
I will say this is a Hallmark movie I probably wouldn't watch.
I would watch this.
It's like Pretty Woman if she had a sibling.
But there is a little bit left to the story.
That's what it's called, right?
In the afternoon, while I was working in the garage, my daughter came to me and hugged me, saying that she loves me. I was fighting tears and I failed because it was the first time in over a year that she hugged me.
Whoa.
Couldn't be me. I still hug my parents. There was never a time that I wasn't hugging my parents.
There was probably like a month or two.
And I think it was the first time since primary school that she said, I love you to me. I still told her I love her every day, but she didn't say it back. And even though I understand it's normal for some teenagers, it was actually heartbreaking for me each time she didn't say it back. I would be devastated.
You got some thick skin, my dude.
She watched me work for a few minutes and left without saying anything. I want to thank you all for your comments and advice, to the people who told me that I must insist on my sister talking to her and not accept her refusal, and also to the people who informed me about the risks. And while I'm glad that wasn't the case, I appreciate it because it made me take this much more seriously. I am honestly just relieved after a long week of stress, and it made me realize again how lucky I am to have both of them in my life. This is really sweet. This was so sweet.
I'm glad that this situation made you guys closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great.
I feel the opposite.
What? I feel like this was such a sweet story.
Sweet story? Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't happen to me.
Like the fear of having a child who doesn't like you for a period of their life.
Oh,
yeah.
that too, yeah.
Oh.
But I don't have to worry about it. I don't have sisters.
Yeah.
I do have brothers that could become, still a possibility.
We'll see. We don't know what life has in store for us.
Just paid studs.
But that's the end of that story, and we got another one coming right up.
My ex paid me to keep him out of our daughter's life, but now he's back.
I paid you money. Go away.
My ex and I have an incredibly long history. We met when I was 18 and he was 19. He was my first love and we dated for about a year. After the breakup, we continued an on and off again relationship and friends with benefits until I turned around 23.
Messy.
Which was also the same time I found out I was pregnant.
Very messy.
He was going to school to be a doctor and he was in his second year of getting his doctorates when I found out. He was also studying in another state that was on the other side of the country. I got pregnant during one of his visits back home.
Presumably you got pregnant when he was home.
He didn't just mail it in, did he?
Yeah, he just sends it over. He's like, I'm sure this will cover it.
He is working on his doctorates.
Yeah.
He would know how to.
He wanted to learn how to deliver a baby.
When I found out I was pregnant, I told him immediately. He was very, very angry and asked what I was going to do about it. I told him I'd be keeping it, and he told me he wanted no part in the child child's life because it was going to ruin everything for him? I told him that wasn't an option. What?
Yikes, dude.
It's going to be more on her, dude. What the heck?
Yeah, come on, dude.
By the way, this comes from Rainbow Leg, and if you want to submit your own stories, you know where to go. I myself grew up with my birth father jumping in and out of the picture, and it's a big stem of my mental illnesses now. All things he knew. After begging him to be in the baby's life throughout almost my entire pregnancy, one day he and his parents called me and offered me a deal. They offered to pay me a very hefty child support until the day the child turned 18 if I never forced him to be a real father.
Wow.
I will say he's on his doctorates. His parents are probably well off.
Gotta be honest, I would accept that deal because he seems like a terrible guy.
Yeah.
Terrible guy, bad father, and you get money out of it. Let's do that.
It would be a horrible influence on your kid's life. His parents, who are very wealthy,
money.
come on. We need a betting game with this.
Money.
I'll just read the first sentence and I'll tell you everything that's about to happen. Promise to take care of everything. At first I said no. I refused and called them all a-holes and told them my baby was gonna have a dad, but after talking to many of my friends and family, they thought it'd be best I take the offer. From all the stories we've read,
I would take the offer. I'll be honest with you. I would take that offer.
how much do you think it was?
I don't know. I'm thinking like Crazy Rich Asians where they like try and pay her off.
$250,000 minimum.
Yeah, like to like cover child support.
That's how much a kid costs. They told me there was no use in forcing him to be a crappy dad to my baby. I finally agreed about 8 months into my
Oh,
pregnancy.
wow. Up to the last minute.
I took sole custody, of course. It's been 7 years, and I have had a beautiful baby girl that I love more than anything on earth. Every single month, I get a check, and not once has it ever been late. I haven't seen or talked to my ex since the day he handed me the first check until about a week ago. Sophia, what do you think he wants?
I think he's going to change his mind. And he's like, oh, I'm a doctor now. It's 7 years past. I've got that doctorate. I'm rich. I want my baby back.
I'm a doctor. I have a ball coming up. What's some of those fancy things?
I don't know. A gala. I don't know.
I got a gala coming up. It's going to look really good if I have a kid beside of me or something.
And everyone at the gala's like, wait, where'd you get that kid from? He's like, oh, it's always been my kid. Just didn't know about her.
Yeah, and then you wouldn't want that because that would come out in the news.
Yeah, that would make you look worse.
Yeah, right?
He's not thinking straight.
Oh, it did turn out I knew about her, and he didn't want anything to do with her. Don't do that. I get a call, and it's my ex. He tells me he wants to take joint custody of our daughter, the daughter he never met in his or her life ever. I was infuriated and told him no. He told me that I can't just say no because he's going to take me to court where a judge will decide.
Unfortunately, he has been making payments, or his parents have. But if you have any proof of like, he said he never wants to see the kid and he'd pay me to never, see that kid. But yeah, the payments do look like child support.
I was crying and screaming and asking why he was doing this. He told me he was sorry, but he was ready to be a father and he wants to be there for our daughter. When I told him I was going to fight him with every fiber of my being to make sure he got nothing, he told me I was being ridiculous and I needed to grow up. Can't just decide to be a father now.
Yeah, it's been 7 years.
Yes, when OP for the last 7 years has been a mother proactively every single day. I've told my family and friends, and almost all of them have told me I need to give him a chance and that I'm just being a witch. I'm on the mom's side here.
Me too. This guy abandoned your kid for 7 years and then has the audacity to come back and say, I'm going to sue you for custody.
The only person that agrees with me is my mother, who watched me get torn apart by my father's constant jumping in and out of my life when I was a child. I know this is going to be a hard fight, and ultimately it is the court's decision, but I just feel like I need to fight this. Am I the a-hole for being so against him getting any custody of my daughter? For all the people that are confused about age, we met late teens, got pregnant when I was 23, he was 24. I'm 30 now, and he's 31 now. Update.
I do not think you are the a-hole. I think you are a mama bear.
I'm gonna be real, you posting on Reddit is pretty strategic because you could probably find a lawyer that'll totally be on your side and know how to navigate this perfectly.
That's true. They'd say, hey, we'll help you out. No, I think if you have any proof that the family said will pay you to not be in your child's life, I would get that proof ready.
I'd say
Because that's your biggest thing.
I'd say evidence on your side.
Yeah, that he hasn't been here at all for 7 years.
I just hope the courts doesn't take it as he said, she said, he said, she
Yeah.
said. And you have evidence of sole custody, the payments coming through. Hopefully it wasn't verbal.
Yeah, hopefully there's something written down.
Update a month later. So I made a very hard decision. After many people's advice and opinions, I decided to ask my daughter what she wanted.
That is also a good idea. Didn't think about that one.
I wouldn't. They're 7.
That's true. They're 7. I don't think they necessarily... They also don't know who this guy is.
Exactly. They've
They've
don't know
never
this
met
man.
him.
All they know that he was rich. He didn't want anything to do with her.
Yeah.
If my kid was a teenager, yeah.
Different story, yeah.
After a very long and hard conversation with my daughter, she did tell me she would like to meet him. Okay, just maybe meet. I don't want to say much more about that. Can't lie, it hurt my heart, but I remember being that excited every time my mother told me about my father. I called him and asked him if he would like to meet me for coffee. He told me he thought that'd be great and we'd set it up. I just hope he's not trying to leverage as much as he can to force
I think he is.
this relationship.
I think he is. I think he'll use all of this in court.
See, my ex again was incredibly hard. And she's 30, bro.
Yeah.
She's so young. She's Keon's age.
Yeah.
Imagine Keon going through this.
I can.
After a very, very long talk, we decided that if we could both be civil adults, we could stay out of court. I would get a lawyer involved.
I would want a lawyer involved.
At least consult with one.
Yeah, like at least, something.
I decided to let him know that I think he should pay for therapy for them both, and he agreed that he would do that and it would be a smart decision. They have an appointment in 2 weeks, and my daughter is excited. I've also made it clear there are no second chances after this. There's always another chance to listen to another story on your favorite podcast platform. Just search up OK Storytime on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. I'm not going to say I'm not nervous about this whole situation. I'm actually very scared for my daughter, which, Sophia, wouldn't you be scared?
I would be terrified. I would be terrified. I mean, Aunt OP's already gone through this, or she's experienced both ends of this, of being the parent who has to, hope that partner doesn't crush the dreams of her child, and also being that child who had her dreams crushed. So it's heartbreaking.
I want what is best for my daughter, and that's it. I'm trying very hard to remember the man my ex was for me, though. He was my best friend and a rock for 5 years, and I only hope he can be that for my daughter now. We haven't had it. That sucks that you had a good moments with this guy, and the second you said, I got a kid,
He was like, peace.
he wanted nothing to do with you. His parents were very like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
That's
Icky. Come on, dude. Be better. Do better.
So I'm seeing a lot of people saying I need to legalize his visitation and stuff, but I need to know if he can be a father first before doing this. When I say stay out of court, I mean we won't be having a long, nasty custody dispute. We will talk to our lawyers when we cross that bridge. I'm looking for an update.
Go look for that update.
Guys, there's no more updates on that story. I looked for it. It was 7 years ago. She hasn't posted since. She was saying that she is going to go legally because if, I don't know, this strange man that's never been around her daughter, a police officer comes up and be like, hey, who's this? And it's like, oh, it's my kid. Are they going to believe him? How are you? Yeah. So she's looking into that. Let's into that one.
But we got another one coming right up. I was offered a private room during a family vacation, but my in-laws wanted it.
Okay, weird.
My mother-in-law has very generously rented a house for a couple weeks this summer and invited all of her kids and their families. There's
Cute.
5 siblings and 4 spouses and 3 couples of kids, so it's a lot.
Big house.
Dang. They didn't have any money growing up, and a few years ago, she was finally able to get a much better paying job, and she's very excited about being able to do this. It's a dream of hers. I will be 7 months pregnant when we go on this trip. That is really pregnant, and it's already a full house. By the way, this comes from Hot Marzipan 3980, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit, and OP says, 2 of my husband's siblings and their spouses are just very toxic people, and we are low contact with them. His other siblings we are close with. They always talk about couple X and Y and whatever marriage or family problems they have, or whatever fights and drama they are picking with everybody else. I am very glad to just avoid them, and they were not invited to our wedding, so they don't particularly love us either. But the few times a year we do end up seeing them, my husband and I just don't engage when we think they're trying to start something. There are 3 rooms with attached baths in the house, a basement with a couple of twin beds and a pull-out couch, and various other pull-out couches or sleeping options in the house.
Oh, and you have how many couples?
5 siblings, 4 of which have partners, 3 of which have kids.
That's not fun for anyone.
No.
Because the parents have to fight for a room. Well, they're going to get a room, but then 4 out of the 2 have to figure out a room.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And my mother-in-law really wants to come on this trip and offered us one of the bedrooms with the attached bathroom because of how far along I will be. Again, OP is pregnant.
She's pregnant.
This was incredibly kind of her, and she's giving up having her own room and rooming with my sister-in-law, the only single sibling, to do so. This is incredibly generous of her, and my husband and I have said several times we think that she should have the private room since she's paying, but she's very insistent she wants us to have it. Enter couple X and Y, who both have children and are very upset that husband and I are being given one of the private rooms, despite us not having any kids yet. They're working on it.
Come on, Xavier and Yancey.
They are making this an entire thing. My husband has been dealing with it without me, but I can feel us getting pulled into their vortex of toxicity, even though he's trying to keep it brief. And I know this won't be solved when the trip comes around. Even though mother-in-law is very insistent that she's paying and it's our room, they of course can't leave it alone. This is the first drama we've had directly with them in a few years. When we got married and they asked my husband why they weren't invited, he sent a short and simple text explaining politely why and directed all further questions to mother-in-law. But we were able to avoid them afterward, whereas we are going to be in a house with them here.
Oh.
But I hope you know that you can listen to us here, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. Just search up OK Storytime. But we've got a little bit left.
If someone's paying for a trip and they want certain accommodations, it feels disrespectful.
Get your own place.
It feels disrespectful to say, no, it should be this way, even though you didn't pay for it. No, listen, respect the person.
I completely agree. I think that if you want your own place, go buy it.
Yeah, and OP's only going to be 7 months pregnant for so long. It's not like she's going to do this every year. Or she might. We don't know.
My solution is that husband and I should just get our own place and be done with it. The only thing is that I know it's very disappointing to my mother-in-law. One of the first times I met her, she told me about wanting to do this and imagining it when they were all kids.
Oh.
She never thought it would happen, but I also think she's trying to force a situation that just won't work. She's done a lot of work to get this together, and I really appreciate it. But I can barely handle them on a good day, and I can't imagine trying to handle them when I'm 7 months pregnant.
That makes sense.
My husband says we can do that if I want, but he really wants to make it work for his mom. He thinks he can handle them as we do normally, but I haven't really been the target of their ire before. Part of me wants to make it work for him, and part of me wants to get the place and be done with it. Am I the a-hole? And that's the end of that story. What do you think?
Couple X and Y need to stop doing their weird stuff and being this toxic, because mother-in-law.
Yeah, she's the nice one. She's just
the
like,
nice one.
I want you guys to have a room.
It's her dream.
It's her dream.
She's giving up a room so her dream can come true. Respect the wishes of your mother. I don't know who's the kid of mother-in-law. Is it X or Y? I don't care. Listen to your mama.
Listen.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime dream for her, and all you can suck it up for a weekend.
Like, truly, you cannot be complaining about things that you did not pay for.
She carried you for 9 months and supported you for at least 18 years, probably more.
Yeah, do it for her.
Come on, you can give her a week at least.
But we've got none more of that story.
That's it. That's just ridiculous. Why just do something for your mom for a week, man?
Please. You
maybe I don't know what your relationship was like with your mom. She seems like a lovely lady. She grew up poor. She got an awesome job. Just do this one day. Gosh. Ugh.
But that's the end of that story, and we got some comments from the video. My wife begged me to cheat with her friend. I refused. And this was posted May 22nd, 2026. And the TLDR comes from story 1. OP and his wife have been together for 10 years and have a great marriage until his wife started asking him which of their friends he found attractive. After pushing him over and over, he finally caved and gave her a name just to end the conversation. But that opened a door OP wishes had stayed closed. His wife started comparing herself to this friend, saying his friend had a better body type and was more well endowed. Then things got really weird when she straight up offered to set OP up to sleep with this friend.
Ooh, check out that video. You gotta check it out. Link right here.
What?
This video. The video we're talking about.
I thought you were talking about a spicy video. I was like, what?
No, I mean just like go check out the rest of the story.
And if you want to find out more about that full story, go watch the full video. But we got some comments.
Yay!
This comment comes from Rita was here. Wife's excuse doesn't make sense because originally she asked which of her friends does he like. How could she know this friend would try to steal him? Yeah, I mean, from what I remember of that episode, it made sense at the end, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Just a Tiny Beanie says, I I feel like she cheated and wants him to cheat so they can be even, but also kept annoying him, and after a while he gave in. Business. This guy who cries with her is definitely not the type of guy who could sleep around with many women, and she knows it. She's either cheating or planning to cheat and wants to get him to sleep with her friend so that she can gain some form of moral high ground in her head. That friend is likely jealous of her, encouraged her to cheat, and agreed to sleep with the husband as a way to trick her friend into ruining her own relationship. And NFS King says, first story, wife is cheating. No one would be pressing that hard unless cheating.
Oh, because we get the moral high ground.
That's what the comments are saying.
Staying even.
But that's the end of those comments and the end of the episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow. Hey, don't leave yet. We've got some stories that we think you'll enjoy, so stay tuned for the next one.
My girlfriend never came home after a night out. I think she's lying about where she was.
Or she might not be your girl.
My girlfriend is unemployed and occasionally goes out on weeknights with her girlfriends in a major city by me. We've been dating 4.5 years and living together for 4 of them. Whoa, a lot of red flags at the top of the story. That's great. By the way, this comes from user throwaway453am. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. Her email alerts come through on our shared iPad, and I saw that she took an Uber ride. And it looks like she dropped her friends off as well because the Uber route passes their homes. She was dropped off outside my apartment at 2 a.m. I received the alert afterward and became suspicious. I can use Find My iPhone on our iPad, and I can see that her phone is close by, about 4 blocks away, on the same street. Uber says she was dropped off here. Where I live, it's all dense apartments, and I can't just walk over there to see what's up. It's likely there are several apartments in the building where the GPS says she is, and the GPS could also be off by a building or two on either, say, front or back. I'm freaking out. I've called and texted beginning at 4:45 a.m. with no reply.
Sorry, bro. She's busy right now.
Can't come to the phone. Can't come home.
I've called each of her girlfriends twice and no one has picked up. I'm so worried. Is she okay? Is she cheating? Seriously, guys, any advice right now would be really helpful to me. My heart is beating out of my chest. Do I call her more? Do I wait? Do I call the police? Major update. Her friend just called. She said she spent the night with her. This is a clear-cut lie. I'm getting off Reddit for a bit, but we'll update after we speak. I'm doing my best to be composed right now. Wish me luck. So, update. This is insane. Her friend called me and said that they all stayed at the friend's apartment, and Uber and iCloud tell me that's a lie. So I asked to speak with my girlfriend and was told, oh, she just left. So I called her phone and she did not pick up. I'm watching iCloud. The phone has not moved. I think her friends just nailed her coffin shut. In any case, coming from the friend's apartment, she can only come from 2 directions. The place where iCloud says she is in a different direction. When I see her start to move, I'm going to wait outside around the corner and catch her walking back from an impossible direction based on the story she's going to try to sell me. Her friend called me at 9 a.m. and sounded frantic. Oh my God, your girlfriend came back to my place last night and just fell asleep. We both got really wasted. So sorry that no one called or texted you. But I knew this was a lie. Because this friend's apartment is nowhere near the apartment 4 blocks up the road from me. I have no idea whose apartment this is. I said that's okay and asked to speak to my girlfriend, but was told I couldn't because she just left. Typically, it should take about 20 minutes to get from friend's apartment to my apartment. More than an hour goes by and still no girlfriend. I decided to call her, and I could hear that beep at the end of the ringtone, signaling me that she's on the other line with someone. I watched her on Find My iPhone leave the mystery apartment, stop on a street corner for about 15 minutes, then proceed to walk a different route. What she was doing was buying some groceries.
It wasn't groceries, I'll tell you that.
Sounds like a plan.
It's a plan to deceive, a conspiracy of the highest order.
She's probably also getting OP like some snacks. Like, oh, I got you breakfast. I love you. Here's a coffee.
Imagine she's actually getting breakfast for the other guy.
That's what she's doing.
She's been living with this guy for 4 years and she's doing this to him. She's got no job. It doesn't sound like she's trying to get one. So when she finally did walk in at 10:15 in the morning, her excuse was, sorry, the shuttle was super slow today. Plus, I stopped to get some fresh fruit. No apology, no nothing. She's acting like I'm a psychopath for caring where she had been all night, even though it's uncharacteristic for her to stay out all night. In fact, she usually calls or texts me when she's on her way home from the city. Okay, so we go inside and I say, why don't you tell me about your night? She goes, oh, we just went to the club. That's it. In the club, we all cheat. That's her motto right there. I asked if they stayed there all night. She told me that she stayed there pretty late. This is another lie. Uber says she was picked up at the club at 1:50 a.m. and the clubs here close at 4. On a typical night, she'll come home between 3 and 4 a.m., so I ask if they went anywhere else. Nope, we're pretty wasted, so we went straight from the club to my friend's apartment. When I got there, I passed out on the couch. This makes absolutely no sense because the Uber receipt clearly states that she was dropped off at my apartment. At this point, I say to her, are you sure you're telling me everything? And she gets heated. F you. I already have a father and an overprotective brother. Why the F can't I just go out with my friends for one night without you all over my butt about it? Side note, she goes out with her friends alone 2 to 3 nights a week, and I let that happen. It's not like she doesn't constantly go out with them. I was going to pause really quickly to be like, OP, this is kind of your fault because you have been dating this girl. I don't know how long she's been employed, but you've been living with her for 4 years. Okay. Her not having a job, her not having any responsibilities, at some point you have enabled that behavior to continue.
You have enabled it. I think he's in the clear now. Also, she's going out on weekdays. You can't be going out on weekdays all the time. Do we know how old they are?
I don't think we have ages. I would assume this is 20s, early 20s.
Early 20s. He doesn't know any better. This is how all relationships are to him.
Because they've been together 4.5 years. They've been living together for 4 of those years. So they moved in after 6 months of dating. I mean, that sounds like young, early 20s activities, honestly. So we're getting into some confrontation here, I think. At this point, I tell her about the Uber ride receipt and show her screenshots of the Find My iPhone application. I show her a journal of the things I attempted to do to get in touch with her and explained how worried I was. Her response was, F you. Why the F are you accusing me of this crap? I constantly try to tag myself on Facebook and it shows up as the wrong location. My phone is all effed up anyway. I'm not lying. I went right to friend's apartment. Okay, so why does Uber have confirmation that you were dropped off here? And this is where the story breaks apart. Well, we dropped all the girls off at the apartment first, and then Uber took me here, but I couldn't find the apartment keys anywhere, so rather than calling you and waking you up or ringing the buzzer, I decided to just walk to friend's apartment, which is bull dookie.
Why is she making it more complicated?
Let's see how big this lie can get.
These people don't read like their matches whatsoever. This guy's like, I have a journal of the things I attempted to do to reach out to you, and clearly is responsible enough to provide enough for both of them to live there. And she is going out to the clubs on a weekday, cheating on her man with terrible excuses. There is a disparity. So she was in a simple club outfit with no jacket. It was 14 degrees last night. The streets and sidewalks here are literally sheets of ice. There's no way she walked for 35 minutes at 2 in the morning in 6-inch heels in those conditions through the ghetto in 13 degrees. No chance. She tells me I'm an a-hole and need to believe her. She tells me she's telling the truth. She even says, check my phone. And miraculously, there's no call log of whoever she was speaking with from around 9:45 when I tried calling, and there's a full text convo of her speaking with her friend about how they spent the night at friend's apartment.
Then you had the wrong number.
Well, clearly, with this completely not manufactured evidence, I must forgive you. There's no other explanation. I literally had your location. Do you not know how locations work? Mind you, these texts are all sent during the time period where I see her on Find My iPhone, leaving the apartment to hang out on a random corner. These girls were straight plotting. So I calmly told her that I'm not buying it and that I'm ending the relationship immediately. Yes, I packed a large bag in front of her with my clothing and laptop and am leaving within the next half hour. She's basically pretending this isn't happening. She's acting cool about it. She's just saying in a normal speaking voice, well, if this is what you want to do, I won't stop you. So that's that. I think she thinks I'm going to flip at the last moment and stay. I think that she thinks she can push the limits and win. I'm not wrong, right? No, you are not wrong. You are doing the exact right thing. If Find My iPhone says you're up the block, don't tell me you stayed a 10-minute car ride away. The GPS is not inaccurate. This is effing reliable science. I don't know what will happen to me from here on out. I've got a 6-month expensive gym membership I need to deal with. We had a mountain trip and Florida trip planned within the next 30 days, plus all of our friends overlap. In any case, I don't know if she cheated, but I'm 99.999% certain that she stayed somewhere else and is actively trying to cover it up. I think that might be some coping mechanism. What do you think clearly, I know what I think. Riley, what happened that night?
We know what happened. If you really want to get some more information, we'll see how loyal your friends are. If this isn't enough evidence for me, which it already is, I would go and bribe. I'd try and get some information. Be like, hey, I was really worried about, my girlfriend. Can you kind of tell me what happened? Because also some other stuff has not been working out really well. I don't know. I would figure out a story where the girlfriend maybe might be doing something mean to one of the girlfriends. I saw that she had these certain type of shoes at her house and they weren't really hers. And then that person's like, I'm missing a pair of shoes. Or oh yeah, I have this dress. It's like, I'm missing this dress.
First you have to take the shoes. Then you have to pin it on the girlfriend. There's a couple of layers there. But you know what the good news is that you can just move right on along. She's actually trying to place blame on me for being possessive. I was called a psycho and a stalker. And she's acting like it doesn't even matter if I leave. F this, I'm out. Nice. And by the way, we never want you to say F this to us because you can constantly listen to full episodes with stories like this. All you have to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from, and just search OK Storytime. And then you can have 48 days worth of consecutive podcast content. 24 times 48 hours at the least. So we do have a little bit more story left. Honestly, I think he's got the right mentality here.
Get out of there, dude. Enjoy your friend. I know you got some trips coming up. Make the most out of it.
Go on those trips. I mean, if they're not built for romance, take somebody else. This person was not the right one for you anyway. You need someone who is thoughtful. This really started with OP being worried. OP was concerned, my girlfriend didn't come home. And then it just devolved into, oh God, it's this. If you've got any criticism or kind words for me as I start my new life, please comment. I'll come back on once I get to my parents' house later this afternoon. My plan is to live there until I can figure out new living accommodations. Finally, thank you all for the advice and tremendous amount of support this morning. I was in a really bad place and don't know what I would have done without r/relationships. I feel like I was having a panic attack. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And that is the end of that story. Honestly, get tested. Who knows how long she's been cheating on you? This might just be the first time that you caught her. You never know. You already have the conviction to just move forward, which is what you need. And I think the reason she might be so cool about this, where it's because she's kind of in hobo mode right now, she's probably thinking, I can just go to the guy I was with last night. I'll just go to his place. She might be thinking that. Who knows? But you don't have to think about her anymore because that's over. Just like this story.
My boyfriend is furious because my brother crashed on my couch after a party.
I mean, did he ruin the couch though? Did he keep the shoes on?
So my brother and I live in different parts of the country and only really see each other once every few months. He was going to be in my town from last Wednesday until Saturday evening, so we made plans to go clubbing on Friday night with some friends of mine. We hung out and came home around 4, and I only have one bed in my apartment, so my brother crashed on my couch. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Slept on the Couch. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/okstorytime subreddit. So we both woke up a few hours later, grabbed lunch, and went to the airport. And my brother headed back over to where he lives. After that, he sent me a text when his flight got in safely and that it was. Now, my boyfriend and I don't live together, but I stay at his place quite often, or he'll stay at mine. He usually works 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out, and he came home yesterday morning, so naturally, I was pretty excited to see him. I picked him up and we came back to my place. Afterward, while chatting, I mentioned that my brother slept the night at my place, and he kind of got weird. I kind of prodded him to tell me what was up because, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what would cause him to go so quiet and sullen when just 5 minutes before we were having a flowing conversation. He told me it was nothing. So I just left it and then later asked him again because he was still in a bad mood. He said that he didn't like the idea of another man staying at my place, regardless of who it is, and that it will not be happening in the future. No more men, no matter if they are kin. I really got confused here because it's my brother sleeping on my couch for one night after we hung out. It's not some stranger or hell, even a guy friend of ours. It's my brother. I laughed it off and said, "You can't be serious. You have to be joking." And he got really angry and left my place.
Hey, the trash just took itself out. Good job.
Last night, I got an angry text saying that as his girlfriend, I have to respect his wishes. And while I get respecting that your significant other wants compromise and the works, isn't this ridiculous? I responded asking him why my brother sleeping on my couch was so bad. And he just said it just was, and that a proper girlfriend doesn't let other men stay over alone with her, and that it's incredibly disrespectful to him. More confusion from me because, again, this isn't some dude I brought home. It's my brother. So I tried talking to him after this, but I got a message saying we'll talk when he's composed himself. What am I to do? I really love my boyfriend, but this is just confusing and I don't know how to react. Also, I should know I've never had any other guys alone in my place. Literally only my boyfriend, apart from my brother, has ever been with me alone there. The only other guys I've been there have been if I have a small group get together, and that's quite rare.
Wait, this is OP's place?
Even worse. Insanity. It's breakup time, girl.
So we gotta edit. Okay, so my boyfriend and I have been texting the past hour or so. What do you think he said? Do you have any guesses?
He's just being like, duh, I can't accept that other men exist. That's me, though. I think he's just hyper. And he's also probably trying to pull a power play. It feels very like alpha male, like, duh, this is what a guy, like a real man in a relationship demands from his partner. And it's like, by the way, all those guys are just trying to sell you a course. It's stupid. Just be present with your partner and trust them at least with their siblings. This guy has just showed you that he's trash. That's all.
Okay, so my boyfriend and I have been texting the past hour or so. He sent me a hey, and I was kind of in a pissy mood after he brushed me off last night. So I simply replied with the, "Are you ready to talk?" He replied, "Okay." So I asked him what the deal was with my brother sleeping on the couch. He's not some random guy from a bar. He's not even a guy friend. He's more than that. He's my brother. I grew up with him, and there's absolutely no reason for him to worry or freak out in that situation because it's my brother of all people. There is literally nothing threatening in that situation, not physically towards me or towards our relationship. His response, "I just am not comfortable with that. I know it's your brother, but I think there are boundaries that should be in place. Why didn't he go back to the friend's place he stayed at on Wednesday and Thursday?" My response, "You're not answering my question and just telling me what you told me last night. Also, my apartment was closer to the club than his friend's place." Him, "We've been together for some time now, and I think as a couple, it looks bad when you let other guys stay over regardless of who they are to you. I would never do something to you like that, and I think it's only fair that you reciprocate that. It's hard to explain things because I know you can't see them from my perspective." Continued, You shouldn't really need other guys so close to you. Why couldn't you just put your brother in a cab and send him on his way just like we normally do with all our other friends? Anyway, I'm in a meeting right now, and I'll talk to you later. Enjoy your day, babe. Bye. We got an edit too. I like the part where he didn't answer any questions.
Yeah, where he just made this all your fault, essentially. He's just like, yeah, it's actually just you being incredibly disrespectful. Does he not know what a brother is? Is he confused? Did he hit his head recently? What are the passable excuses for, like, thinking this way? Like, are there even any?
No, it's just insecure. It's coming from a place of insecurity. Or he's thinking some really messed up things.
I don't think we have that, but it's like, regardless, he needs to find another one, and it shouldn't be with you, OP, because if this is what he's doing now, like, just imagine the other things that are going to come down the line.
Edit 2. Everyone, I don't even know how the heck to react right now. This is the first time he's ever acted like this. He's met my brother before, and they've always gone along so well. Comments. Comment 1. The whole disrespectful to him thing screams that he thinks of you as his, as in property to me. Comment 2. This is pretty disturbing behavior in my opinion. Very controlling and unreasonable. I'd be very wary if I were you. I think you need to get to the bottom of this before your relationship progresses any farther. Very controlling stuff. My only thought here would be, and perhaps this is blowing it way out of proportion, but does he have some kind of traumatic brother/sister relationship thing in his past somewhere? OP replies, he's an only child, so no chance of any traumatizing brother/sister events in his past. So he probably doesn't even understand how brothers and sisters work, like Dakota.
It's just like, if you cannot trust your partner with their own sibling, if you're going to feel disrespected by the presence of just another male, regardless of biological relation, then you are not built for a relationship right now. You have other priorities and other things that you need to sort out.
I don't think you're built for anything right now. My guy is trying to pretty much own his girlfriend. He has no idea how relationships work, and all of that. If that's just how he is with just guys in general, like, oh, you can't have any male friends along with any male siblings? This guy's out of pocket.
It's so over.
So against my better judgment, I did not immediately break up with my boyfriend. I tried convincing myself it was a one-time thing. Maybe he was just having a rough patch, and I tried pushing it down. I did not tell my brother what happened, and he replied saying he'd always thought of my boyfriend and him were cool with each other at the very least. He then told me my boyfriend is being nuts, and if I need to crash for a few days, I could come up to his end. So the rest of the week remained tense with my boyfriend, but closer to the weekend, it was relaxed-ish. We went on a date, hung out with some friends at a bar together, and yet for the life of me, I couldn't figure out reasons for his outburst. So on Sunday, I asked him again, now that you seem in a better mood, would it be so bad if I asked what was up last week? And once again, mood went from friendly and relaxed to Arctic. He simply asked me if I'd keep bringing up BS when we were doing okay.
Because it's highly concerning and breakup worthy.
This guy's tunnel visioned as heck, man.
I got pretty angry at him and told him to leave my apartment. Since Sunday, I've been stewing and just looking back at our relationship. Sure, I have my friends, but we hang out with them much less. The ones we do hang out with are more his friends and people that he is cool with being with. It was rough, but looking back on it, I started seeing controlling behavior from him that I had never taken up due to either just being head over heels and willing to compromise on everything, and by compromise, I mean roll over and give up. We talked last week, and I gave him an ultimatum, something I never expected to give my relationship. Either you sit and try to talk this out with me like a rational person, no BS answers, and no dodging questions, or we break up. Instead of having a conversation, he broke down, started telling me I was the best thing he's ever had, and that he has issues that he can't even begin to explain, and that he doesn't want to lose me. By the way, you will never lose us if you join us on your favorite podcast platform. Just search up OK Storytime, and what will be there, Dakota?
48 days later, and you will have listened to the entire OK Storytime catalog. However, that's 48 consecutive days, nonstop.
Anyways, back to the story. After you see one red flag, it seems like there's a whole pile of them. How big does one red flag need to be in order to see all the small ones?
It's not even that this is necessarily the biggest red flag ever. It's just more like such a telling indicator that like, well, this isn't a person who you want to be in a relationship with. He's insecure about your brother. And it's more like just like on the basis, like principle that he is a man. That's ridiculous. And now for him to be like, well, it's like I have all this stuff and all these things, these problems that you can't even begin to understand. It's like, yeah, I can't understand because you're not going to talk to me about it. So if you're literally not going to say anything, if you're not going to explain yourself whatsoever, then there's no way forward. Even if you do explain yourself, OP still has the right to be like, all right, well, it's nice to know at least where your head's at. However, I don't think I can be with you still. So it's all up to this guy on whether or not he wants to even try to be honest. But if I were OP, I'd be done.
I'd be out of there, girl. But we got the end of the story right here. Now, I'm sorry if this is the part that makes me seem like a witch, but it wasn't the answer I wanted or deserved. Not when I've been the one rolling over and giving him whatever throughout our entire relationship. So I told him that it was best if we didn't see each other anymore and that he should leave my apartment because he was about to love bomb you. Here we go. This is going to make some people mad. Yes, let me man up and talk to you about my issues.
Yeah.
If you have something like that, great. But it seems like it was about to become a cycle.
To OP being like, it's not the answer I wanted. OP, you didn't get one. You literally didn't even get an answer. You got an excuse, which is, I've got so many problems. Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, it's the universal human experience. Everyone has a lot of problems. Everyone deals with them every day. Like, if you're in a partnership with somebody, that's someone you can tell your problems to. If there's real vulnerability and openness here, there is a path forward. However, it doesn't feel like this guy is going to do that at all. And it feels like he said that probably as a cheap attempt to try to manipulate OP into just being like, oh, well, he's got problems.
He left and spent almost 2 hours just sitting in his car in front of my place before leaving when it was close to midnight. So yeah, we broke up. I admit I feel more saddened than relieved, hoping I don't do something stupid like waste down him or call him over because I'm lonely or something like that. But yeah, we're not together anymore. It sucks, but it had to be done. I think it's the best.
My daughter had an accident while playing with my husband, but he refuses to apologize. And guys, this is a direct Storytime story. Came from one of you. So, sorry for the long post. It is a long, bumpy ride, so buckle up. I am Sally, 39 female, and my partner, John, 37 male. We were in the kitchen hanging out with our daughter, Sandra, female 11, and his eldest and my stepdaughter, Lily, female 17. These are all fake names. By the way, this comes from user TrickEnthusiasm5818. And if you want to submit your stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, Sandra and John were horsing around, and Sandra tried to get past him. He blocked her path. In the process of him blocking her way, Sandra's hip got slammed into the counter. She was hurt and upset. She ran from the room, and I was worried, and I went to check on her with a gel ice pack for her hip. It looked to me that John bumped into her with his hip when she tried to get by. Sandra also felt him push her with his hip. She was angry at him, and I asked her what it would take to make her feel better about the situation. She jokingly said, I want to get back at Daddy. So I said, okay, let's go. So we ran in there so she could see me get her revenge, so to speak. I ran up to John and told him I got to give him the old 1-2 for Sandra because he bumped into her and she got hurt. I barely gave him just the weakest little tap on his left pectoral muscle. I whispered to him, sorry, I was just trying to cheer her up and joke her out of being mad at you. He said, it's fine. It didn't hurt. I told John that if he just apologized, she would feel better about the situation and it could be resolved. But he made excuses and said everything except I'm sorry I hurt you.
Interesting. Just a little humility would go a long way here, John.
Maybe he has demand avoidance. He instead played the victim and blamed Sandra. Bold move. Let's see if that one pays off. I got angry and raised my voice. I will admit that. I have a temper, and I do tend to raise my voice when I get angry. I said that all he has to say is sorry without all the excuses. We know it was just an accident and there was no ill intent on his part, but he is the adult and needs to show the kids that he can take accountability for his part in the accident, especially since she is the kid and she got hurt. He just argued with me that he did nothing wrong, and if she didn't try to leave, she wouldn't have gotten hurt. I argued that if he didn't block her way when she tried to leave, she would have been fine. He keeps bringing it back up again when other things happen. Him and I were playing, and I gave him a little smack with the oven mitt. He blocked and hurt his pinky in the process. He made a not so subtle comment about how he isn't mad and other people should act like him when they get hurt, and it's no one's fault. I told him the difference is I was apologizing to him and getting him ice for his fingers, though I did say he shouldn't have blocked because he wouldn't have hurt his finger. I also pointed out that we were both adults and Sandra is a kid and she got hurt. That's the point right there that I'm like, where's your brain?
I don't know if he knows how to father.
This feels like more like an interaction between siblings. You're right. He's acting like instead of like a dad, he's acting like it's like an older brother where it's like, well, no, she wouldn't have got hurt if she didn't try to leave. And it's like, that's not really what it's about. It's just about making sure she's fine, doing the adult thing and just going, oh, sorry, is your hip okay? And then she'll go, yeah, it's okay. And you go, all right, well, we're okay, right? That's all we were looking for here. At least that's my sense. He said that Lily, the older daughter, so he said Lily saw it too and took his side and didn't understand why I was mad at him. She didn't see him bump into her. She never said that to me or when I was in the room, so who knows what's true. I argued that I was closer and saw it from a different angle and that Sandra felt him bump into her. Sandra is okay, by the way. It was just a scrape, but it may bruise. This just happened last night, so I'm not sure. No serious injuries, though. The issue is that it hurt more than her hip. His reaction hurt her feelings. That's the real problem here, is it's like, why are we trying to like blame the 11-year-old child when you hip checked her? You clearly hip checked her for maybe like running through the kitchen or something.
And we're trying to invalidate her.
You're just trying to avoid any and all accountability or blame for the situation, which is making it worse, my guy. Could have been very quick, in and out, super fast, and now we're done, moving on with our lives. John is much harder on Sandra than the other two kids. We also have a son together, a 6-year-old named Jack, who is on the autism spectrum. John treats Sandra like he doesn't like her as much as the other two kids. He's been more distant with me since Sandra was born. He struggled for a few years after she was born and was not around much during that time. I feel like he missed out on the best age for bonding with her, which would be 0 to 5 years old. We moved when she was 10 months old, and he was feeling a lot of pressure and financial stress at that time, I think. Sandra believes he wanted a son and was disappointed when she turned out to be a girl. And I honestly kind of agree. He rarely tries to spend time with her, and when he does, he's usually mean to her. The stars are not aligning for you, John. This is not looking good.
You got a son eventually. That's weird. I don't know if I can ever understand that. Because my first kid, I would love for it to be a girl. But if it comes a boy, I'm not going to be like, oh no.
I'm just happy to have a son or a daughter.
If you're not ready for either of the options, then don't have a kid. It's that simple. Like, come on. What are we doing? He rarely tries to spend time with Sandra, and when he does, he's usually mean to her. I've tried to bridge the gap, but to no avail. His behavior towards her has affected her mental health in a negative way. I have told him this, and he doesn't listen to me and often refuses to talk to me about it or blames her because of her bad attitude. But she is the child. He is supposed to be the one that shows her that he loves her, not the other way around, right? Yes. Correct. You're arguing like you're on even footing with an 11-year-old girl who is your daughter.
Crazy conspiracy theory. You may not think it's his kid.
Oh, he's going to say, I was gone a lot. I was at the office. Meanwhile, you had a little baby. I don't think is mine. If that really is like you can't deal with like having a daughter or having a son. You only want one. Go adopt. Adopt. That's how you can guarantee that you get exactly what you want. Like it's a candy store, I guess, but come on, guys. Anyway, so I feel like he treats her badly because she won't kiss his butt and act like he's some kind of hero, buttering him up with fake praise. I don't either usually, which is why we fight. I am abrupt and honest nowadays, and she takes after her mother, I guess. I love my kids, and I want John to see that he is damaging his relationship with her and me with his behavior. I want to keep my family together, but I sometimes wish I could leave him and take the kids. I can't, though. I will explain why before you all scream, "Leave him! You're a terrible mother for subjecting these kids to abuse." Just listen to my reasoning before you judge me. I have thought of nothing else for many years. I am a stay-at-home mom, and we are unmarried. There is no common law marriage in my state, and I would leave with nothing after supporting him in his career and raising his children for 15 years. I also fear about the way the kids would be treated and cared for during his time alone with them if we separated. John and his parents insisted that we use corporal punishment on the kids, and I refused. John's family are firm believers in the Bible verse, "If you spare the rod, you spoil the child." I also didn't allow him to get physical with the kids. I didn't let his parents babysit at all unless I had no choice because they didn't respect my wishes on the no spanking rule. I don't believe in using physical punishment to teach kids how to behave. I think it reduces their spirit and traumatizes them and doesn't teach them anything positive. Big facts. I'm just going to say we're in agreement and move forward. I want to keep my family together. The risk of abuse and neglect goes up when parents are separated, not to mention other things like anxiety and substance abuse. I'm not saying having parents stay together and argue often is much better, but sometimes life is like voting for a president. Neither choices are great or even good options, but you have to pick the lesser of two evils. I do still love that son of a little witchy man deep down, even though I also hate his guts most days. John has some good qualities as well. He's not physically abusive. He's a good provider and he spoils us. He does love us all, Sandra too. He just has a piss poor way of showing it sometimes. He is good in the spicy arena, which is what first drew us to each other. At first, it was infatuation and a little spicy chemistry. He usually gives in to what I want, especially when it comes to the kids in the house, which is nice. And by the way, another nice thing that you can do is listen to full episodes with stories like this. All you got to do is go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from, and search OK Storytime. And there you can peruse the plethora of podcast peculiarities as you wish. We do have a little bit of the story left. You know, I'm not a lawyer. I am not familiar with common law and marriage laws and all of this, but it's like, it sounds like you've really done the math on like what's positive and what's negative. I think maybe a conversation with parents, you know, if John's parents, anyone who's part of the support web, the support structure that you have. And if you find yourself isolated from like family, like that's like maybe another red flag there. I know that there's two sides to every coin, but it's like, if you really are worried about like abuse, like it really doesn't sound like this is a guy that you want to stay. If that is something that's even a consideration where it's like, well, we got to figure out which way is the least amount of abuse. It's like, if there's abuse in any context, really, that's not good. So I would figure out what the laws are, figure out what kind of rights that he would have to the kids.
So you're saying divorce?
I think if you're at the point where you're like weighing the different sort of variables of like where the most likely source of abuse would be coming from, like if you even have to weigh that, I just don't think that's the right guy to be with. I don't think that's a guy that you want raising your kids.
I would say therapy in this case. This seems like the first case that OP has been confronted with an issue like this. I mean, they probably talked about it before. This is the actual like first case. I'm going to say go to therapy, see where his head's at, see where your head's at, and work on a solution together, or that it might be best to have this problem apart.
If there's any doubt at all of their like actual safety, that's not a conversation. That's like a immediately needing to find a way forward without that threat. There is a little bit more here. Let's finish it off. I am also not perfect. I admit that I contribute to the toxic dynamic in our relationship. I am easily triggered and tend to yell when I get angry, but I try to at least admit to my failings and apologize when I am an a-hole. He almost always refuses to admit any wrongdoing or apologize for any of his often awful behavior. That is not a pretty picture there, OP. That is the ugly truth from my perspective. Sorry that was so long. So am I the a-hole for for blaming my partner and asking him to apologize when our daughter got hurt while they were horsing around in the kitchen.
N-O. That spells.
Absolutely not. But I do think that this is just a sliver, like a little microcosm in a much larger issue overall, which is that y'all's dynamic as partners doesn't really seem to be working on all of the levels that really matter the most right now.